Shalom. It's your man Real back again. Happy Shabbat to everybody out there keeping Shabbat. Just laying back, chilling, and resting, reading scriptures. So I just want to share a little bit of this Shabbat with you all out there. Hope you don't mind. And I want to go over here to Leviticus chapter 19. It's a good place to start. So it reads, And HAWAH spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto all the assembly of the children of Yasharel, or Hawasharel, and say unto them, Ye shall be holy, for I, HAWAH, am holy. Now this is the Sefer that we're reading out of, so you'll see they have Yahuwah on there. And I prefer to use HAWAH, alright? So let's keep going. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and guard my Shabbats, Sabbaths. I am HAWAH. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods, or Elohim, or images. I am HAWAH. And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto HAWAH, ye shall offer it at your own will. It shall be eaten the same day ye offer it, and on the morrow. And if aught remains until the third day, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable. It shall not be accepted. Therefore, everyone that eats it shall bear his iniquity, because he has profaned the hallowed thing of HAWAH, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, neither shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. Alright, this is back when we had land. Alright, do you have land to this day? Well, you might, but not like back then, when everybody had land. And you shall not glean your vineyard, neither shall you gather every grape of your vineyard. You shall leave then for the poor and the stranger. I am HAWAH. Right? So you gotta think about even the strangers, the poor. Alright? You gotta leave something for them. Like if you see somebody on the corner today, need some help them out. Right? Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And ye shall not swear 7 oaths by my name falsely, neither shall you profane the name of your power, your Elohim. I am HAWAH. You shall not defraud your neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with you all night until the morning. Right? So I still wish they would go by this today, but we are back in captivity. So technically, you're supposed to, when you work, you're supposed to get paid that same day. But nowadays, you gotta wait, a week, maybe 2 weeks after they cut taxes out of your check. Alright? But it didn't used to be like that. Remember, this is the teachings of HAWAH. Alright, we in the Torah right now. You shall not curse the deaf, verse 14, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear your Elohim, or your power. I am HAWAH. Ye shall not do unrighteousness in judgment. Ye shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. So it don't matter, poor, rich, you only judge in righteousness. You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people. Neither shall you stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am HAWAH. You shall not hate your brother in your heart. You shall in any wise rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. All right, that's a good one. All right, they got this thing called no snitching, right? Or nowadays, if you snitch, even if you just say truth, you looked at sideways, right? But that's not how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to rebuke your neighbor and don't let him suffer sin upon him, right? Verse 18, you shall not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am HAWAH. So a lot of this applies to today, right? We got people holding grudges, right? They keep score. They sliding on the ops. All right? All this and that. We kill ourselves more than anything else. You kill your own brothers more than you do the ops, the oppressors that's actually doing this to you right now. All right? That's holding on to this captivity, to this oppression. Right? But we want to hold grudges. Can't do that. All right? Ye shall guard my statutes. You shall not let your cattle gender with a diverse kind. You shall not sow your field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon you. So you're not supposed to mix, not even your cattle, right, with a different gender. And your clothes should be all 100%, whatever there is, right? 100% cotton, 100% silk, whatever. You know, but I think polyester is a mix in itself. So, polyester is just wrong. And you'll notice when you wear stuff that's not that's mixed, that it makes your body itch. All right. All right. Keep going. Verse 20. And whosoever lies carnally with the woman that is a bondmaid, betrothed to a man, and not at all redeemed, nor freedom given her, she shall be scourged. They shall not be put to death, because she was not free. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto HAWAH, unto the door of the tabernacle of the assembly, even a ram for a trespass offering. All right? It's back when we used to have, high priests set up that can accept the sacrifice. All right? We don't have any of that today. All right? And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of trespass offering before HAWAH for his sin which he has done, and the sin which he has done shall be forgiven him. And when ye shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years shall it be as uncircumcised unto you. It shall not be eaten of. But in the 4th year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise HAWAH withal. And in the 5th year shall ye eat of the fruit thereof, that it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am HAWAH. Ye shall not eat anything with the blood. Now I read the same verse in the Septuagint. And it says, you shall not eat on the mountains. So I'm assuming that the mountains have something to do with eating with blood. Let's continue. Neither shall ye use enchantment, nor practice sorcery. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall you mar the corners of your beard. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am HAWAH. So we got a lot of brothers and sisters out here. It's like getting like tatting is like it's been a trend, but I see it a lot more these days. So hey man, don't get no more. All right, keep that in the past. All right, you're not supposed to mark yourself. All right, you're not supposed to cut yourself. Do not prostitute your daughter to cause her to be a whore, lest the land fall to whoredom, and the land become full of wickedness. That's a good one right there. You see what we got going on today, right? All right. You see the daughters of Zion today, right? A lot of them. All right. A lot of them, all they know how to do is twerk or dress inappropriately. They talk worse than the men these days. A lot of them. All right. This comes from the fathers not being fathers. All right. Because you're prostituting your daughter by not teaching her correctly. All right. Ye shall guard my Sabbaths, Shabbats, and reverence my sanctuary. I am HAWAH. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am HAWAH. All right, this is another one. All right. Familiar spirits, man. This is how these evil spirits like to come at you. They like to come at you as family members, like your grandma or somebody, you know what I'm saying? And you feel like you know them. You feel like, oh, grandma talking to me, or my uncle talking to me, or this and that. These are familiar. They call them familiar spirits for a reason, right? All right. That ain't your ancestor. That is a demonic, evil spirit that's trying to get in. All right. When they get in, they want to take over. They want to possess. All right. You gotta be careful now. You shall not rise up before the gray head and honor the face of the old man and fear your power. I am HAWAH. And if a stranger sojourn with you in your land, ye shall not vex him. See that? So, hold on. But the stranger that dwells with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and you shall love him as yourself. For ye were strangers in the land of Mitzrayim, right? Egypt, house of bondage. I am HAWAH. So that's a big one, because a lot of A lot of brothers these days feel like this is their block, or this is their turf, or this is, you know what I'm saying, their hood, or they set, and somebody come in that they don't know, it's gonna be a problem, you know. But to be honest, none of this, all of this has been taken, man. This ain't the olden days where we had this and that. You know, this land was these people, and this land this people. No, the government has all this land. So you can claim that set if you want to, but at the end of the day, that's not even yours. All right? And either way, if it was yours, if a stranger was to come into your land, you're supposed to treat them as one that was born among you. Right? All right? Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, and measure, and weight, or in measure. Just balances, just weights. A just defy, a just 10 shall ye have. I am HAWAH, which brought you out of the land of Mizraim. Therefore shall ye guard all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am HAWAH. Alright? So, I love this scripture right here because it has a lot in one. And it's a lot in here, you know? It's always good to go back and get into that Torah. The reason I bring this up is because we in that time of season, right? Like we just had so-called Halloween pass by. People are gearing up to celebrate the dead, right? And now we about to get into this so-called holiday season where the energy is gonna be off. Everybody's gonna be rushing around, trying to, you know, everybody like, happy this, happy that, this and that. You know, it's just that time of year, man. But I'm here to let you know all of that is wickedness, right? All of that is what you would call pagan, all right? So you gotta have that shield of HAWAH on during this time of season because they're gonna be going hard out here, all right? But what is a pagan? Well, we go to the etym online. It says this is a person of non-Christian or non-Jewish faith from the late Latin paganus. All right. So if you was non-Christian or non-Jewish faith, they called you pagan in the 1400s. They called you pagan because you wasn't a Christian or you wasn't Jewish. All right. In classical Latin, a villager, rustic, civilian, non-combatants. Noun use of adjective meaning of the country, of the village. From pagus, country people, province, rural district. Right? So, the religious sense often was said in the 19th century to derive from conservative rural adherence to the old gods after the Christianization of Roman towns and cities. So, this is old gods, but we all know HAWAH is one, right? Right? Your father and mother above, they are together as one. HAWAH, right? Now this is after the Christianization of Roman towns and cities. So just like we have gentrification today, back then they had Christianization, where they were going around with their missionaries, and it was like vote or die. It was Christ or die. So Christianization of Roman towns. But the Latin word in this sense predates that period in church history and is more likely derived from the use of paganism and Roman military jargon for civilian incompetent soldier. Right? So they called you incompetent. Picked up with the military imagery of the early church, such as the Millites, the soldier of Christ, see? Soldiers of Christ. So it was get down to lay down back then, right? During this Christianization. So they used to call you pagan. Alright? Now, they used to call you pagan. But what we see is nothing but rituals today, right? What is a ritual? A prescribed manner of performing religious worship, right? A book containing the rites or ordinances of a church. Also, the external forms of religious or devotional exercises. Alright? So, all these holidays that they're getting ready to get into. Oh, well, my link? My link just disappeared. Okay. That's good. Sound good. Let me see. I had a link up, but I don't know what happened to it. We can find it. Alright. So we're getting into that time of year. Alright, shout out to NHZ Music. That's what I'm listening to right now. It's 432 Hertz. And you got some good playlists over there. Alright. Was I looking at this? I think so. Okay. Alright, pagan holidays, right? Or they even call them Sabbats, alright? They're trying to make them sound like Shabbat. These are their Sabbaths, right? Alright? Pagan holiday known as Sabbat. Alright, see the mockery? Form or from the wheel of the year. Alright, honor the seasons, lunar phases, agricultural rhythms of the earth. Alright. So, a lot of my family is going to be involved in a lot of this stuff. I ain't going to lie to you. I stopped doing all this stuff, alright? Even birthdays is up here, right? Every single one of these holidays got some type of pagan origin, right? It's the reason why they want you to join in. Hey, marry this, happy that, alright? And then if you don't do it, they look at you straight. Oh, you don't? Oh, no, I don't. No, I don't. But yeah, here we go. All right, February 1st. February 2nd, that was around Groundhog's Day. All right, something called Imbiak. Alright, you got your Valentine's Day, Lupercalia. You got your St. Patrick's Day, All Snakes Day. You got your Spring Equinox, Stara. You got May Day, May 1st, Beltane. You got your Summer Solstice. Alright, you got your August 1st, Lamas. September 22nd, Autumn Equinox. We just had that Samhain, however you want to say it. That was Halloween. And then they don't have Thanksgiving on here, but Thanksgiving, every single one of them have an origin that goes back to serving or celebrating some type of God. Now we just got it in Leviticus, right? That you only serve the Most High. All right. Now I got a little short video on here. We can kick back, watch it, because a lot of people just they they feel like it's no harm, no foul, right? Like, oh, I'm just it don't hurt to um just do it. That's not my intention. Or well, you don't understand how magic works, right? You don't understand how energy and harvesting energy works. Even though that you may not mean to do these certain things to worship these gods, you're still doing it on the same day as everybody else and putting your energy into it. Like when Halloween just passed by, I felt the shift of energy. I felt the negative force in the air. I felt that. You know what I'm saying? I seen it in people. Alright? These evil rituals come with evil energy that you are helping by celebrating and doing these things. It's abominations to the Most High. You say you love God. I don't understand. A lot of people say they love God. I love God. You love God, but you're doing everything backwards. And society has made it that way in 2024, or so-called 2024, that everything that is wrong, they display as it is right. And everything that is right is wrong. So you got your brain on backwards, especially if you grew up in a public school and this programming society that we live in. But yeah, I just want to watch a little 17-minute video with y'all. I think this is the one. All right.
The infinite universe and how ceremony and ritual could work to influence a desired outcome.
Fair use. This is the Brythonic Pantheon. Man, y'all go check out his channel.
So first up, I should say that this is entirely my own personal view. It's been formed over a number of years, studying various forms of mysticism and religious belief systems. Obviously, nobody has a proven model or definitive proof of how the universe is structured. So these are just theories and hypotheses. So why then do I want to have this discussion? So I'm just one of those people that need to be able to see how things work before I can accept them. Now, I just was never one to be able to accept things on face value. 2 + 2 = 4. Was never enough for me. And so fuzzy concepts such as becoming one with divinity, well, they may be true, but it really doesn't lend itself much into giving a feasible explanation of how ritual and ceremony can work from a practical perspective. So then, this is an attempt to rationalize how ritual can work by bringing together the common elements that I've seen and learned throughout the years from doctrines such as the Kabbalah and Hermetic law. Ultimately, in simplistic terms, these doctrines all point to a principle of working within attained levels of consciousness and the belief that the individual, through the subconscious mind, has the capability to affect the greater sea, if you like, of the universal subconscious in which we all live. So before we can delve into the mysterious effects of ceremony and ritual, we need to first understand and examine the concept and the structure of the universe from a ceremonial magician's perspective. So let's just jump straight in there and look at the structure of the universe. So everything in the universe, when broken down, is raw energy. Every material object can be broken down to atoms, subatomic particles, and eventually raw energy. Everything in the universe, material or not, is energy. Thought, intellect, emotion, they're all forms of energy, and energy is the source of everything. So then this iteration then defines the infinite nature of the universe. So let's develop that concept a little further, the infinite universe. If we accept everything is energy when broken down, and everything is created of energy, and we accept energy exists within the universe in all possible states and material manifestations, thereby forming the universe as we know it, this then is infinity. We start with energy, it takes on various forms and states, and eventually it will decay, or is broken down, and it will revert back to its original state of raw energy. So then we have the infinite circumference of a circle analogy. There is no start, there is no end, there's just raw energy, which exists in various states and manifests itself into the material and immaterial, which in turn is again composed of raw energy. So now that we have an understanding of the structure of the universe, let's look at a Kabbalistic construct, the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life, in simplistic terms, can be seen as a schematic of the universe. The Tree of Life consists of 10 Sephiroth, and those Sephiroth depict, amongst other associations, levels of consciousness, awareness or states of mind that directly correlate with the various levels and manifestations of the fabric of the universe. This then provides a map of associations that enables the individual to place their minds into the correct state of consciousness that will allow them to interact within the universal subconscious and to focus their intent on the desired outcome. Most systems, if not all, intentionally or not, use the same concept of levels of consciousness.
Financial success isn't hitting up the hot spots, partying with rock stars, or staying up all night.
Of levels of consciousness and states of awareness to focus their intent and drive that intent to manifestation onto the material plane. So, where does ceremony and ritual fit into all of this? Well, ceremony and ritual are extremely powerful tools, and they help the individual to obtain the desired state of consciousness and to build up an immense store of energy, which they can then inject into the part of the universal subconscious in which they are working.
Yeah. So they take all this energy that you give them and they use it for witchcraft, evil, celestial worship. Alright? Even if you're not intentionally doing it, it's still there.
And then, by defined mechanisms, drive it through to manifestation onto the material plane. So what's this universal subconscious I keep talking about? If we accept the universe consists entirely of energy in various states, we may think of it, for reasons of simplicity, as a giant sea in which everything exists and everything is composed of the raw elements which make up this sea. So, like organisms that exist within the sea, we are all connected by the raw elements which make up this sea. In our case, those elements are raw energy which form levels of consciousness and awareness and various states of manifestations onto the material plane. This suit that connects us all may then be thought of in some part to be the universal subconscious to which we are all connected. So we know making motions in any part of the sea can cause ripples or waves or even currents, which then can affect the whole of the sea. And so making motions within the shared subconscious likewise has a similar effect within the universal subconscious. So continuing on this analogy of ripples and currents, we have seen how tapping into certain parts of our own subconscious can affect the whole, just like the ripples in the sea analogy. Ritual and ceremony are tools that can help to create the right environment, frame of mind to work within the desired part of the universal subconscious. A chosen ceremony or ritual places a person into a state of consciousness that he considers is appropriate to achieve his chosen outcome. Now,
watch those hands, man.
Gods and spirits and other phenomena that you may hear spoken of in mystical circles may be seen as natural phenomena in this model, just as waves and currents are in our sea analogy. They're forms of energy that have the power to move and manipulate subordinate forms of energy, just as a strong current within the sea, some of which are well known and predictable and have known outcomes and are named. A person of knowledge may call upon the names of gods and spirits or other entities that exist within their belief system to help to turn those ripples into waves, or use those strong currents to direct the energy to the final goal.
Boom. That's what it is right there. All right. Thank you, sir. That's all I needed. Appreciate that, man. Y'all go check them out. All right. That being said, these rituals, all these holidays are rituals. All right? Now, moving on along. I was going to do a Judgment Day video. My computer was, it just kept like self-destructing. So I'm just going to include it into this video. I had a bunch of other stuff pulled up, but you know, that was then. This is now. So we back. Alright, we're going to second Esdras right quick. Now, there's something about second Esdras. Alright. It has a lot of detailed information in there about what's to come. Alright. And I've seen some people actually say second Esdras is not a real scriptural book. And they like to use like the dates of when it was written, or you know, because they interject and they putting JC in here. Alright. So some people say this is man-made. This is not from the Most High. See? Verse 28. Alright. See where they interjected JC right there? Alright. But if we go, this is the King James, right? Alright. Yeah, if we switch over and we go, and even the Sefer has a lot of hijack in it too. But you know, I like to use it because it's got a lot of things in one spot. You know. So you just have to be careful no matter what you use. You gotta use your discernment. Alright, they've hijacked everything. They've done their best to make sure Israel is no more. Alright? But this is where your discernment and your wisdom, right, from your mother above, this is where that needs to kick in. So we going to Second Ezra, or Esdras, and chapter 7. Alright? Now this book, this chapter, has been played with. Alright? They took 70 verses away from here. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Alright? Alright? Now, if you're saying that the book is fake, then why would they need to take verses out of it? First of all, you don't make a fake book and then be like, well, hold on, we told them too much. We need to take this out. I just don't see that, you know? But let's go ahead and get to it. Alright? And when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights before. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the word that I am come to tell you. And I said, Speak on, my master. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case that the entrance was narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is built and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. And there is but one path between them, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, It is so, Most High. Then said he unto me, Even so also is HAWAH's portion, because for their sakes I made the world. And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. But they are few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, but brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Now, therefore, why disquiet yourself, seeing you are but a corruptible man? And why are you moved, whereas you are but mortal? Why have you not considered in your mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Then answered I, and said, O HAWAH, you have ordained in your Torah that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the wicked should perish. Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And he said unto me, There is no judge above the Most High, HAWAH, and none that has understanding above HAWAH. For there be many that perish in this life, because they despise the Torah of HAWAH that is set before them. See that? They despise the Torah. Alright? That's why they do what they do. They despise it. For the Most High has given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spoke against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of HAWAH that he is not, and knew not his ways. But his Torah have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. And therefore, Esdras, for the empty are empty things, and for the full are the full things. Behold, the time shall come that these tokens which I have told you shall come to pass, and the bride shall appear, and she, coming forth, shall be seen, that now is withdrawn from the earth. Who's this bride? Are we referring to your mother above, who was put away for your iniquity? She couldn't bear to see the sin of her children. Is that who we're talking about? And whosoever is delivered from the foresaid evils shall see my wonders. Now here we go. Here we go with the hijack, right? For my son, look what they got right here. Yahusha, who was that? For my son, what's his name, shall be revealed with those that be with him, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. Now, this is where they try to put their hijack in here, right? Yeah, you know, they're jocking the name of Jehoshua, right? And they got Yahuwah is salvation, right? So they're jocking on the name of Joshua, and they even got the high priest and Zechariah on here. The high priest Joshua. Alright? Now we know this is not a JC character. Alright? We already know that. So who is this referring to? Let's go back. Who is this son that shall be revealed, right? And shall rejoice, and they that remain shall rejoice within 400 years. After these years shall my son, now they got Mashiach, or Messiah, right? Die, and all men that have life. So this is a prophecy, end time. And they're saying that the Messiah is going to die here. Alright? And all men that have life. Alright, now this scripture right here, this part of the scripture becomes a little questionable. Alright? And I've been digging and digging, trying to precept this. Alright? So, I'm going to need somebody who got a little bit of understanding to help me break this one down. Alright? All I'm going to say is, we know about the return of King David, and we know that some of the prophets will be returning. Everybody that's going to be returning. Alright? Some say that we are at the end of the 400-year prophecy right now. Alright? Now, when I get more clarification, I'll come back and do a part 2 to this. But I'm not going to get stuck right here. All right, we're just going to keep going because this ain't even what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to the other part. And the world shall be turned into the old silent 7 days, as in the former judgments, so that no man shall remain. All right. So I am not afraid to admit that I am not the greatest of the greatest scholars. All right. But if I know it, I bring it to you, right? So that's all I'm gonna say on that. All right. I'm good at piecing things together, but this right here, I swear I was stuck on this for a long time. All right. And after 7 days, the world that awakens not shall be raised up, and that shall die that is corrupt. And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. All right. Now that part we do know. That those who die are not really dead. Only a fool believes in death. Right? Get that in the Wisdom of Solomon. All right? And the earth shall restore those that are asleep in her. So shall the dust, those that dwell in silence in the secret places, shall deliver those souls that were committed unto them. And the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. But judgment only shall remain. Truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds bear no rule. Alright, now, I told you I was going to show you. They took these verses out, right? This is where it begins. Alright, what was it, 35? Let me see. If you go over to the King James Version, alright, now, look, clearly you can see right here they hijacked JC's name into here, okay? I mean, just look at verse 37. Because it says in 36, then said I, Abraham, prayed for the Sodomites, Moshe, for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness. And now they're trying to stick JC's name in here. And JC after him for Israel in time of a change. Now we know that's Joshua, right? Who came after Moses? Joshua. We going in order right here. Because next comes Samuel and David for the destruction. And Solomon. So this is all in order, right? But see how they stuck JC's name in there? That's weird, man. Anyway. Alright. They just completely skipped 70 verses in here. Alright, and the work on 35, and the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. We go to 35. And the work shall follow, and the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no rule. The next verse is, then the pit of torment shall appear. They don't have that in the King James Version. This been completely taken out. They skipped all the way down to then said I, which is we're gonna get to. We're gonna get to in the Sefer. But we ain't there yet because they took it out of that. Alright? So let's go to 36. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite it shall be the place of rest, and the furnace of Sheol shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, look now, and understand whom ye have denied, whom ye have not served, whose commandments ye have despised. Alright? So you want to keep these holidays? You want to keep on worshiping these gods? You want to keep on acting like the commandments don't matter? You want to just do as thy wilt, right? You want to do what you want out here on this earth that was created by HAWAH. Well, guess what? This was going to be said to you at the end. Alright? Then HAWAH will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, so even those that you think so-called died and got away with it, they ain't going to get away with nothing. He's going to say, look now and understand whom ye have denied, whom ye have not served, whose commandments ye have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus he will speak to them on the day of judgment. So on one side, we're going to have paradise, delightfulness. And on the other side, you're going to have fire and torment. So they're going to be able to look over and see the good and see what they're missing out on. And those on the good side are going to be able to look over there and see why they're going to be glad that they serve HAWAH. All right, this is what it's going to come down to. Even the dead that you think have died, they're going to come back. Everybody will witness this day. A day that has no sun, or moon, or stars, or cloud, or thunder, or lightning, or wind, or water, or air, or darkness, or evening, or morning, or summer, or spring, or heat, or winter, or frost, or cold, or hail, or rain, or dew, or noon, or night, or dawn, or shining, or brightness, or light, but only the splendor of the glory of, guess who? HAWAH, by which all shall see what has been determined for them. Only thing you're going to witness is that glory coming off of the Most High. For it will last for about a week of years. This is my judgment in its prescribed order. And to you alone have I shown these things. I answered and said, HAWAH. I said then and I said now, blessed are those who are alive and guard your commandments. See? Not, it didn't say, hey, blessed are those who believe in your son. Where Christians so-called believe that's how they get salvation. No. It says, blessed are those who are alive and guard your commandments. But what of those for whom I pray? For whom among the living is there that has not sinned? Or who among men that has not transgressed your covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight to few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from HAWAH, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and has shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life, that not just a few of us, but almost all who have been created. He answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra. I will instruct you and will admonish you yet again. For this reason, the Most High has made not one world, but two. For whereas you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the wicked abound, hear the explanation for this. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? I said, HAWAH, how could that be? He said to me, not only that, but ask the earth, and she will tell you. Defer to her, and she will declare it to you. Say to her, you produce gold and silver and brass, and also iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant, or those that are rare. I said, oh HAWAH, what is plentiful is of less worth, and what is more rare is more precious. He answered me and said, weigh within yourself what you have thought, for he who has what is hard to get rejoices more than he who has what is plentiful. So also will be the judgment which I have promised. For I will rejoice over the few who will be saved, because it is they who have made my glory to prevail now, and through them my name has now been honored. And I will not grieve over the multitude of those who perish, for it is they who are now like a mist and similar to a flame and smoke. They are set on fire and burn hotly and are extinguished. So those who will perish, you're not even going to grieve over those who perish. All right? You shouldn't either. All right? They will be like a mist, similar to a flame and smoke. 62, I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth? If the mind is made out of the dust like the other created things. For it would have been better if the dust itself had not been born, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tormented because we perish and know it. Let mankind lament, but let the beasts of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the four-footed beasts and flocks rejoice. For it is much better with them than with us. For they do not look for judgment, nor do they know of any torment, or HAWAH promised to them after death. Now see how the sufferer is trying to hijack and throw this name in here? This means salvation, but they want to put Yeshua right there. Alright? This is salvation that they just canceled out. Salvation is promised to them after death. Alright? For what does it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but cruelly tormented? For all who have been born are involved in iniquities, and are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if we were not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it would have been better for us. He answered me and said, when HAWAH made the world, and Adam, and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment, and the things that pertain to the judgment. And now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who dwell on earth shall be tormented. Because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity. And though they received the commandments, they did not guard them. And though they obtained the Torah, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. What then will they have to say in judgment? Or how will they answer in the last times? For how long the time is that HAWAH has been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sake, but because of the times which he has foreordained. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, O HAWAH, show this also to your servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up his soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come when you will renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not be associated with those who have shown scorn, nor number yourself amongst those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works laid up with the Most High, but it will not be shown to you until the last times. Now concerning death, the teaching is, when a decisive decree has gone forth from HAWAH that a man shall die, as the Ruach, spirit, leaves the body to return again to him who gave it, first of all, it adores the glory of HAWAH. So the spirit adores the glory of HAWAH. And if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not guarded the way of the Most High, and who have despised his Torah, and who have hated those who fear HAWAH, such spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. It's going to be sad in 7 ways. 81. The first way, because they have scorned the Torah of HAWAH. The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance that they may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of HAWAH. The fourth way, they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by angels in profound quiet. The sixth way, they shall see how some of them will pass over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of HAWAH, before whom they sinned while they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged in the last times. So, you need to remember this for anybody that think they can do what they want on this earth and forget about HAWAH and commandments, and do what they want to do, don't want to listen. This is what's going to happen to you. You're going to wither away, utterly waste away in confusion, and be consumed with shame, and shall wither with fear at seeing the glory of HAWAH. You're going to see HAWAH, and you're going to be filled with shame, confusion, and utterly waste away. Oh. Verse 88. Now this is the order of those who have guarded the ways of HAWAH, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. During the time that they lived in it, they laboriously served HAWAH, and withstood danger every hour, that they might guard the Torah of the Torah giver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them, for they shall have rest in 7 orders, just like the other part. It's a 7, and then another 7 part. All right? The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought which was formed with them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. All right? So, it's the evil thoughts that lead to sin, right? Before you commit the sin, you have to think of it. I think in Wisdom of Solomon it says they're like wild beasts running rampant. These evil thoughts, right? So that's the first order. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the wicked wander and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, they see the witness which he who formed them bears concerning them, that while they were alive they guarded the Torah which was given them in trust. The fourth order, they understand the rest which they now enjoy, being gathered into their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory which awaits them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And besides, they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty which they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their face is to shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they hasten to behold the face of him whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced, and the aforesaid are the ways of the torment which those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. I answered and said, will time therefore be given to the souls, after they have been separated from the bodies, to see what you have described to me? He said to me, they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered in their habitations. I answered and said, if I have found favor in your sight, show further to me, your servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be able to intercede for the wicked, or to pray to HAWAH for them. Fathers for sons, or sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their kinsmen, or friends for those who are most dear. So Ezra is asking, hey, can we pray for them? The ones, the wicked? He answered me and said, since you have found favor in my sight, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is decisive and displays to all the seal of truth. Just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be ill or sleep, or eat, or be healed in his place. So no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall anyone lay a burden on another, for then everyone shall bear his own righteousness and unrighteousness. Then said I. Now this is where they picked it back up. They skipped all of that in the King James Version. They took it out. They said a monk took it out. Because he didn't like it. And I can see why. It gets real. All right? It's telling you exactly what's going to happen. And you don't want to hear that. If you are wicked and you know you're wicked, you don't want to hear that. Especially the part that you're going to be tormented in 7 different ways. You definitely don't want to hear that. So this is where they picked it back up at in the King James. Then said I, Abraham prayed first for the inhabitants of Sodom, and Moshe for the fathers that sinned in the wilderness. Now here we go. They throwing hijack in here. Yahusha. Who? That's Joshua. Oh, Joshua. And Joshua, or Hawashua, after him for Hawasharel in the time of Achan, or Achan. Alright? And Samuel and David for the destruction. And Solomon for them that should come to the sanctuary. And Elijah for those that receive rain, and for the dead that he might live. And Ezekiel for the people in the time. Or Sennacherib, and many more, and many for many. Even so now, seeing corruption is grown up, wickedness increased, and the righteous have prayed for the wicked. Wherefore shall it not be so now also? He answered me and said, this present life is not the end where much glory abides. Therefore have they prayed for the weak, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the more immortality for it to come, wherein corruption is past. So they calling it the day of doom right here. They even got a doomsday clock. I might look that up in a second, but last time I looked at it, it was at the end. So that's just another topic. 114. Intemperance is at an end. Infidelity is cut off. Righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that has gotten the victory. I answered then and said, this is my first and last saying, that if it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given him to have restrained him from sinning. For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment? Oh, Adam, what have you done? For though it was you that sinned, you are not fallen alone, but we are all come of you. We all that come of you. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death, and that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves being most wicked are made vain. Alright? Go back and read Ecclesiastes, where all is vanity in this world we live in. If you're not doing and keeping the law, if it's not done in righteousness, it's vanity. Alright? 121. And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety, whereas we have lived wickedly. And that the glory of HAWAH is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked of ways of all. And that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endures forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it. For we have walked in unpleasant places, and that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Then he answered me and said, This is the condition of the battle, which man that is born upon the earth shall fight, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as you have said. But if he gets the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. For this is the life whereof Moshe spoke unto the people while he lived, saying, Choose life, that you may live. Yep, I think I'm going to go get that scripture. Nevertheless, they believed not him, nor yet the prophets after him. No, nor me, which have spoken unto them, that there should not be such heaviness in their destruction, and shall be joy over them that are persuaded too. What? Wait a minute. This is supposed to be salvation. They got his name in here? Let's just say salvation. I answered them and said, I know, HAWAH, that the Most High is called merciful, and that he has mercy upon them which are not yet come into this world, and upon those also that turn to his Torah, that he is patient and long suffers those that have sinned as his creatures, and that he is bountiful, for he is ready to give where it needs, and that he is of great mercy, for he multiplies more and more mercies to them that are present and that are past, and also to them which are to come. For if he shall not multiply his mercies, the world will not continue with them that inherit therein. And he pardons. For if he did not sow of his goodness, for if he did not sow of his goodness, that they which have committed iniquities might be eased of them, the 10,000th part of men should not remain living. And being judged, if he should not forgive them that are cured with his word, and put out the multitude of contentions, there should be very few left, perchance, in an innumerable multitude. Whew. So, there it is. You want to know about Judgment Day? Here we go. All right, Moshe told you. Where is that? We'll get it real quick. I got a little bit more I want to read here. Deuteronomy chapter 30. All right. Moshe said, And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations. Right? So this is Moshe foretelling that among all the nations, you're going to call them to mind whither HAWAH has driven you. Right? So wherever you at, it's going to come to mind. You're going to remember this. And shall return unto HAWAH. Alright? I know they got these extra words in here. Alright? They got it in a bunch of different ways. Alright? We just gonna stick to HAWAH. And shall return unto HAWAH. And shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day. You and your children with all your heart and with all your soul. That then HAWAH will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations, whether HAWAH has scattered you. If any of yours be driven out onto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will HAWAH gather you, and from thence will he fetch you. And HAWAH will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it. And he will do you good and multiply you above your fathers. And HAWAH will circumcise your heart and the heart of your seed, to love HAWAH with all your heart, with all your soul, that you may live. And HAWAH will put all these curses upon your enemies and on them that hate you, which persecuted you. And you shall return and obey the voice of HAWAH and do all his commandments, which I command you this day. And HAWAH will make you plenteous in every work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your land, for good. For HAWAH will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers. If you shall hearken unto the voice of HAWAH to guard his commandments and statutes, which are written in this Sefer of the Torah, if you turn unto HAWAH with all your heart and with all your soul. For this commandment which I command you this day, it is not hidden from you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that you should say, who shall go up for us to heaven to bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea, that you should say, who shall go over the sea for us and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it? But the word is very nigh unto you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. Now, ain't that something? Because last time I checked, the most common book in the world is the Bible. It's in hotels, it's in every courtroom, it's all over the world, it's everywhere. Yet they still will not take heed, because they want to remix it and put a New Testament in it. And now everybody is all flipped around backwards and they read it from the back to the front. But Moshe was telling you right here in Deuteronomy. See, I have set before you this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command you this day to love HAWAH, to walk in his ways, to guard his commandments, his statutes, and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. HAWAH shall bless you in the land whither you go to possess it. But if your heart turn away, so that you will not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, all right, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land, whether you pass over the Jordan to go possess. I call the heavens and the earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that you may love HAWAH, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cleave unto him. For he is your life and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which HAWAH swore 7 oaths unto your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. HAWAH.